It begins with silence, not the kind you hear, but the kind you feel. She sees you, or at least you think she does. There's a spark in her gaze, an intensity that feels almost sacred. You believe you're being seen for who you truly are, but deep down, something whispers, this isn't about you. It's about her reflection in you. You're not being accepted, you're being interpreted. In that moment, you become a vessel, a stage, a role waiting to be filled. Not for who you are, but for the story she's been carrying in her head, sometimes for years. And here's the quiet tragedy. Most men welcome this because we've never learned to question it. She sees potential, or is it a pattern? You're flattered. You lean in. You start adjusting. You shift your tone, your pace, your presence. Not because she asked, but because you're already playing the part. The script was handed to you the moment she smiled. But that script has nothing to do with you. Carl Jung spent his life studying these invisible scripts. He called them archetypes, ancient patterns in the psyche that shape our behaviors without us even realizing. And one of the most dangerous of these, especially for men, is the projected self. That's when you're not loved for who you are. You're loved for the story someone else has written about you. And here's what's worse. They don't know they're doing it. And neither do you. You think she loves your strength, your calm, your mystery. But what she really loves is how those traits fit into her internal myth. You were never the main character. You were the supporting act in a film she began long before she met you. Jung warned that projection is not just a psychological glitch, it's a spiritual crisis. When a woman projects her ideal image of a man onto you, it's not about you at all. It's about her animus, the inner masculine blueprint every woman carries within her unconscious. If that animus is unexamined, undeveloped, or wounded, it becomes a tyrant. And when that tyrant meets you, it doesn't want connection. It wants a mirror. You're not her partner. You're a symbol, a token, a dream. And dreams can be rewritten. When you no longer align with the fantasy, the role is recast. And you're left on stage, confused, heartbroken, wondering what changed. Nothing changed. You simply woke up. But let's not just talk about her. Let's talk about you, the man who wanted to be chosen. Why? Because you never learned to choose yourself. We've been raised on validation, trained to believe that a woman's approval is proof of our worth, that if she wants us, we must be good, strong, valuable. This is the lie that has destroyed men for centuries. You don't become a man when she chooses you. You become a man when you stop needing to be chosen. Jung called this the process of individuation, the path of integrating your shadow, facing your unconscious patterns, and stepping into the terrifying, liberating truth of who you actually are. It's not romantic. It's not easy. It doesn't look good on Instagram. It's brutal, slow, and often lonely. But it's real. Here's what happens when you don't individuate. You become malleable. You adapt to the roles others expect. You soften your edges. You suppress your anger. You pretend to be kinder than you are. Not because you're kind, but because she told you kind is attractive. You become clay. She doesn't mold you with her hands. She molds you with her silence, her sighs, her subtle reactions to who you are, and you shapeshift without even noticing. But here's the secret Jung understood. Every time you mold yourself to fit someone else's fantasy, you bury a piece of your soul. You call it love. You call it compromise. You call it connection. But it's not connection. It's abandonment. Self-abandonment, dressed in the costume of romance. Now, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, how many times have you fallen in love with a role? Not a person. A role. The protector. The savior. The stable one. The mysterious one. And how many times did that role betray you? Because it wasn't rooted in your truth. We say we want to be seen, but in truth, we're terrified of it. Because being seen means being vulnerable. And being vulnerable means risking rejection, not for the mask, but for the real face underneath. Men who haven't met their own unconscious will always be vulnerable to the projections of others. You will confuse desire for love. You will think admiration is intimacy. You will believe validation is understanding. It's not. Real love doesn't project. It recognizes. It doesn't build fantasies. It welcomes truth. And here's the paradox. You can't be loved for who you are until you know who you are. You can't be seen until you've looked in the mirror and made peace with what you see. So, what do? You stop chasing approval. You stop asking, what does she want from me? And start asking, what do I want from myself? You learn to sit in the fire of your loneliness until it no longer burns you. You confront your shadows without running to her light. You become a man not because she says you are, but because you've earned it through inner war. You stop auditioning for roles in someone else's life, and you start writing your own script. Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Most men are not rejected. They are forgotten because they forgot themselves. You are not here to perform. You are not here to impress. You are not here to be understood by someone who hasn't even understood herself. You are here to wake up. And in waking, you may lose people, but you will find something far more precious, yourself. And brother, this is the moment when you remember who you were, before the world told you who to be. Comment your thoughts below, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Cheers.